What's happening, man? How are you?
Dude, I'm fantastic. So much has happened since I last saw you, but all good. How about you?
That life is good. Yeah, I was thinking about it, man. It has been well, I mean, I've been in North Carolina for 3.5 years, man.
Oh my God, I'm getting old.
Right? Yeah. So it's like I've been out here for 3.5 years. The last time we saw each other was on campus in Roseville, for sure. So it's been, at least out probably 4 years ish.
That's crazy.
Isn't it?
Yeah, life has flipped upside down twice since I've seen you.
That's nuts, man. Well, I'm excited to talk about it. And here, I mean, I've been seeing what I can see. I'm not a big scroller and check, but like every once in a while, if I can see you pop up, I'll go, oh, okay, cool. Let's see what's happening. So I'm excited to talk all about it, man. But I'm just excited to talk about you in general and life in general. And then we got some amazing humans from around the world that'll come in with some Q&A on the back end. So just an easy day, man.
You always do, man. You always bring the best.
It's an easy day. I want to get into how life is flipping you upside down, but I definitely want to give these guys a background too. And obviously, if you're okay with this going up for a podcast, I want listeners to know. I want these guys to know. I want to kind of walk through the Greg Siewers story, if you're okay with it. And
Yeah.
and I and I remember. I don't remember what happened, but I remember at least telling you this at some point and it maybe was when you were coming onto campus and you sat down with our high schoolers. It might have been, I was then you were rocking some classes out at the campus. I don't remember when it was, and I don't remember who it was, but I remember talking to a guy at some point, and I mentioned your name, and he goes, "Wait, the Greg Siewers?" And that's literally how he goes, "The Greg Siewers," and I went, I guess so. And he goes, "You don't understand who that guy is, do you?" And I go, I like him. I like him a lot. What do I not understand? Did he murder somebody? Like, what is, and the guy is like, no, this guy is the freaking, the way he said what he said. He goes, this guy is the Michael Jordan of paintball. Like, how do you know him?
Wow.
Yeah. And it was like, oh, okay. I was like, I don't even know him as that. And so that was before we'd had that. So it's just pretty funny, man, that's how it was thrown out.
That's awesome. Yeah, there's been a few stories where I've passed in public, especially when, paintball was my full gig, and
Yeah.
someone at Starbucks stops my wife and they're like, "Can we take a picture with your husband?"
So
And
funny.
for me, that's just like the moment of like, I think I won the relationship today.
Yeah, yeah. I am the winner. I am the winner. So, yeah, it's super funny, man. So I do want to, I do want to kind of go back there because we've got young men here from all over the world. We got young, guys that are 12, 13, 15, 17, 19. So I want to kind of go back to those early teen years because that is a big part of your story too. You got into some stuff pretty early at a really high level. But then we'll take it all the way into business today too, man. So let's start with Greg as that young buck.
Yeah, the young buck Greg, I've always been me. So very high energy. I've learned to control it a little bit, but always an athlete. As a kid, I told my parents I was going to be a pro everything, skater, BMX rider, soccer player, everything.
Yeah.
But at 9 years old, my parents discovered paintball. Like everyone does, they took the whole family to go play, and I was immediately obsessed, like obsessed. So by 12 years old, I was playing every single weekend. Um, 2 years after that, I was playing national events. So I was traveling around the US side by side with my dad playing nationals. And then at age 16, I got my first shot at professional paintball. So I was still in high school. But the big like turning point for me was in Massachusetts. If you score high enough on your SAT score, you get a free ride to a state school. So I had earned that.
Yeah.
But also my senior year, I got recruited by a professional paintball team out of Sacramento, and I was in the Boston area. So every Friday, every single Friday, my senior year, I would skip last period, fly to Sacramento, practice Saturday, Sunday, take the red eye flight home Sunday night, and I'd be one period late on Monday morning for a year. And the agreement was the team paid my flights if I'd be willing to move out there at the end of the year to continue playing with the team. So I had the conversation with my parents when push came to shove, and I decided to throw out the free tuition, fly to Sacramento, literally on the last day of school, and I chased my paintball career from there. But I moved out when I was 17.
That's so wild. I remember that story because I remember thinking, so for those of you guys that I mean, you have a general idea of geography, but going from Boston, going out from Logan to Sacramento Airport, that flight that just sucks in general. And doing that every single week, man. Um, but yeah, I mean, it had to feel, it had to feel different. Did you think that was like, ooh, okay, this is pretty rad? And you talking to your buddies and you're like, dude, this is pretty cool that I get to do this. Did you feel isolated and weird doing this? Like, what was that feeling like for a young guy at that age?
I think the first time I came back where I was like, oh my gosh, I just did all this stuff. Like I'm flying to California again this weekend.
Yeah.
My friends were more annoyed with me than
Yeah.
excited. Like, oh, we
Yeah.
can't hang out this weekend. Like Greg's too cool. But
Mm.
at that point, there was probably just a minute feeling of isolation,
Yeah.
but so quickly. I mean, within an hour, I just didn't care.
Yeah.
I was so excited to be doing what I was doing. And it was something that no one else could do. So I started to look at myself that way of like, I'm doing this because you can't, which was
Yeah.
always motivating for me.
Yeah. 100%, man. How did your folks do with all this? Obviously, your dad, you guys started playing together. But then it's hitting that time too where there was still very much the culture. I mean, still is some of this that
Oh
lingers
yeah.
there. I'll get less and less, but there's very much that cultural like, no, but you have to go to college, otherwise life is going to blow up and you're going to prison, right? There was still that very much like that kind of conversation going on. How did your parents support or not support, of the fear, or like maybe mom was different than dad? Like, how did that look with that agreement of I'm gonna forego the state school and go over here?
You hit it right on the money. So not only is that still a big thing in the Boston area
Yeah,
specifically, but my mom was a 25-year teacher in my
yeah,
town, so that
yeah,
added a little twist to it.
yeah,
But you hit it on the money. My dad was fully supportive. He said, as long as you do the things that we ask of you, which included you have to go to college, because
yeah,
we talked about taking a leap year, all these things.
yeah,
He said, just do the thing. Um, do well in school. So our rule in the house was always you had to have honor roll. And as long as you do that, I will support you as much as possible. Um, my mom in the early years, I mean, even early pro years, wasn't a fan of paintball because it meant missing school. It was a distraction. It was all these things. But I sold her the day we walked into a Barnes and Noble, if you guys remember those.
oh yeah.
And I opened a magazine and there was a 2-page spread of me in the
Oh,
magazine. And that's when she was like, oh,
oh,
this
you're
is
good
kind of
then.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
And from there, she became one of my biggest fans. Like she knows more about the industry now than I do, which was fantastic. But it was definitely a give and take of I have to go to school. I have to take out the loans. I'm responsible for them. But as
yep,
long as I do these things, they'll support me on the back end. So they did.
yeah. That's cool. That's cool, man. That's fun. So take us through. So you graduate, now you go into that. What did those next few years like? How did that paintball? I mean, and it was more than a few years, but how did that whole industry play out?
Yeah, so it spiraled. So 2006, I started playing pro. 2007, I'm now in Sacramento, first full season pro. That team at the end of the season starts falling apart, and I don't know if they're going to have sponsorships. So I called my network that I already made that year in the industry, and that ended up playing for the championship team in 2008, which was wild. Two things happened. One, some of the best players ever to hit the game were on that team. So I
Mm,
learned a lot really fast. Um, Let me know if my language is wrong, but I got my ass kicked a
so you're
lot on that team.
yeah,
Um, but the opportunity that came from that was I got to start playing in Europe. I got to start playing in Canada, Mexico, Australia, Asia, all of these things because of those guys as my contacts. Uh, so
awesome.
fast forward to the end of that season, this world championship team that I was fighting to be on, we went to the World Cup, the biggest event ever. Everyone in the world that plays paintball is there, thousands of people. And we won the event. But I got sat for the entire event. And my entire family was there. First pro event that my mom had watched. My sisters were there, my brother, her husband, everything. And I sat. So when we won, I was like on the verge of tears. But to me, that was a make or break moment. Like this could be it, or I can buckle down and try to be the best player ever. So I chose the latter. And from there, we took off. I mean, I bounced around teams a lot. I ended up playing for more championship teams, 7-time USA world champ, which is really cool because the USA team for paintball actually gets voted in by other professionals, not by fans. So
Yeah.
it's not a popularity contest. It's the USA wants to win. We're going to pick the best of the best.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, I mean, all of that started happening through college. So by my junior year of college, most people were playing 5 to 10 tournaments a year.
Yeah.
I played 29.
Wow.
Um, so to do that, I was traveling for practice, traveling for events, playing on every continent except Antarctica. And I had to beg my professors to let me miss school. So every time I selected a class, I found the professor. I went to their office before the classes started. I said, look, I'm not going to be here 90% of the time, but I will be your best student. I promise. So I took midterms early, tests early. I did extra projects and it worked out, but I definitely lied. I'd bring in my jerseys when I was broke, not making a dollar from paintball, and was like, please, this is how I make money to pay for college. Total lie. And some of my friends ran companies, so I'd bring in letterheads that was like, infamous paintball demands that Greg attends this tournament per contract, blah, blah, blah. So there was a lot of moving and shaking, but it was amazing.
That's wild, man. That's freaking fantastic. So I'm interested, but like just the story of that, man, is there's a lot of learning even. And then look, we're not guys, the young guys on here, we're not obviously proponents of saying like go lie your way through anything. That's not the
Of
message
course.
here. Like obviously, but the like that dedication, the getting voted in by others, having that kind of opportunity, traveling around the world and being on these world championship teams. That is a specific mindset that I don't know how you can train that any other way. Carrie Walsh Jenny. I mean, she's a friend of mine and the greatest volleyball player of all time, greatest female volleyball player of all time. Like phenomenal, phenomenal human. And we talk about mindset often. For you, at the peak of the competition, when kind of everything is on the line, like what did you learn about or what did you develop around like the voice inside your head? Because that's something that I think
Oh,
transfers to
man.
everything else. But I mean, I like these guys to hear when you've got somebody who is the best of the best, how are they doing that in their mind?
Yeah, I think the biggest actual lie out there is that they're not doubting themselves.
Right.
Everybody has those demons,
Yeah.
everybody. So, two things that I did early on was one, a lot of people like to get hyped up before matches, big
Yeah.
cheering, slaps on the back. I learned that that wasn't for me. So I would join the huddle, but I was quiet. I would take a knee outside of the field before the game started, and I just did one thing. I pictured the first 10 seconds of the game and just said, as long as I make it to my spot, the other team's going to get ruined. That's all I got to
Mm.
do. Just make it to the one spot. And then once the horn rang, it was like that's all I could think about was just do that, just do that, just do that. And it became an ongoing joke. Something I used to say to my dad is, he'd always say, have fun. You play better when you're having fun. So trying to get that level of edge off of, yes, I'm getting paid to do this at this point. Yes, it's a world championship moment. There's thousands of people watching, but it's got to have fun because that's what I signed up for this in the first place for. So I
Mm.
think that was the very early stages was isolate the first 10 seconds and just remember why you started doing it in the first place.
I'm gonna come back to those because now that you're in business, I'm just giving you a heads up. But now that
Yeah.
you're in business, I wonder how that transfers over, right? As you're launching a business or as you're in the midst of the day to day, what does that look like as far as like, all right, what's that first 10 seconds, right? Maybe it's not the exact same thing, but like, what does that principle carry over? Does the fun principle carry over? Like, I'm interested if those kinds of principles carry over too. But I want you to take us into the business. I want to go through the story of that first too. So, like transitioning out of paintball, when was that?
Yeah, so I didn't actually stop playing paintball until 2022. So I
Okay.
was pro for about 16 years.
Okay. Okay. And so you had opened up Map in that transition, correct?
Yeah, so I had map training as a mobile service, then as an online training while I was
Okay.
traveling. And then in 2020, I was starting to think about getting out of paintball, and that's when I opened my first gym.
Okay. And so that's when you opened on was that on Vernon?
Yeah, Riverside. Yep.
Riverside. Okay, yeah, yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Trying to remember exactly where the street was and where the location was. So okay. So tell everybody what that business, how that started, because I think there's been, like you said, things have been flipped upside down, but I think there's like transitions and stuff here in this business too.
Yeah. So the quick evolution was when I was playing paintball and that's all I wanted to do, I still needed to make money. So
Yeah,
before I was getting paid, I worked a 4 a.m. job as a forklift driver, which was the worst thing ever. Best opportunity to remind myself that I didn't want to do physical labor for a living. So that
yeah,
was cool. Uh, I moved out of there. I started working at a gym and I was doing swim lessons for kids.
got it.
And cool, love kids. It's a long summer, but at the end of that, I was getting ready to quit the job. You know, summer was over. I was getting ready to leave, and I happened to be in the back office talking about, "Hey, I'm not going to work anymore. I'm going to chase this paintball thing and try to make money." And the fitness manager overheard me, and she was like, "Wait, what?" And I said, "Oh yeah, I'm in school for nutrition, but I'm going to go play paintball." She's like, "I will hire you right now." So I became a personal trainer. So I did that for a couple of years. In that process, I thought I could do it better. So I decided to open up map training. And being still a broke paintball kid in college, I did mobile training. So I loaded up the back of my Mazda with some equipment, met clients out on fields, turf, whatever. That turned into online training because my traveling had ramped up. Um, and online training then, bro, it was an Excel sheet with YouTube links because
Yeah,
there was no apps to make
yeah,
this happen. So it was
yeah,
not easy. From there, I ended up opening, I had left training for a short time to play paintball full time. And right around 2020, like I said, I was starting to think about, something outside of paintball.
yeah,
I started training in person at a local gym, private gym. But 2020 hit, I
yeah.
had a full stack of clients. And after weeks of telling me he wasn't going to close, the owner closed. Well, I still had 50 clients. So I started training out of my gym or out of my garage. And then from my garage, all my clients, my business was building. So I was like, you know what? Forget this. And in July of 2020, I rented my first space to go open my gym.
Got the storefront.
Um, yeah, very quickly. So 3 months later, we moved across the street to the building that you knew, which was 3 times the size of my first place.
Yeah.
Um, and then from there, I ended up actually buying a gym in Granite Bay. So I went from 4,000 square feet to 16,000 square feet. And I tried to do a gym turnaround in Granite Bay.
I did not know. Okay, so this is right about the time where things got wild on my side, and we ended up moving not too long after that. So, so yeah, these are all the parts that I did not know.
Yeah,
Uh,
it was a little wild. So my Roseville gym, small. I built it up. I signed up for a couple of like gym training programs that really helped me scale.
yeah,
And I have no problem giving you guys numbers. That 4,000 square foot gym scaled to about 120 grand a month in revenue,
nice.
which was wild.
Yeah,
Um, so I thought I was a big dog on campus. So I bought a gym that was losing 25 grand a month. Uh, Turned it around over a year. And then I can tell you how this happened, but I decided to sell both gyms and I sold both of them at a profit in November and December last year.
good for you. I know exact. I won't say for sure, but I'm almost positive I know the gym in Granite Bay that
Yeah.
you're talking about because I remember it being for sale.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember
It was
that
a
being.
cheap buy. Couldn't figure out why, but I
Yeah,
learned very
yeah,
quickly
you learned
why.
why. Yeah, you learned why, but you turned that around. So fascinating. Okay, so basically what I want to do is I want to get the continued trajectory of okay, so you sold those. What does that look like? And then I've got a couple of questions that I want to pick apart on this whole journey in there to get some more insight from you too. So you sold both of those. Congratulations. That's
Thank
flipping
you.
huge. That's awesome. And so then what? You didn't just retire and
Yeah.
move to the beach and you're all done, right?
No, I took 1 week off and I was miserable. I was like,
Yeah,
I need to work. I need to do
yeah.
something. But in the process of having the gyms, I actually started a supplement brand because it was
Okay.
kind of part of our
Yeah.
training weight loss program. So now I'm in the supplement business like full time. So my company, Maptrition, which was the spinoff,
Yep.
has pre-workouts, protein powders, multivitamins, all that stuff. Um, we just hooked up with a couple of people in my network. We rebranded, and we're looking to take off this year. So we should be on retail stores within the next year.
Good for you guys, man. Are you guys going local first? How is that? How is that going? Because we got a couple of within Apogee, we have a handful of guys that have brands of various types. I don't think we have any. Never mind. Brian Tweer has a few supplement stores, but I don't
Mm.
know that he has his own. brand or not, but we've got Pride Foods in here. They're getting into retail, mostly
Nice.
Midwest right now. But Rice and Grinds, I got them hooked up with Mark Bell out in the Sacramento area too, so I know they're getting him some stuff. We got a
Nice.
handful of guys getting in that space. How are you going about that retail play?
Yeah, so right now, lessons learned from people in my network is DTC, so direct to consumer, is the best way to start,
Yeah.
especially with TikTok. So TikTok Shop is massive right now for selling physical products. And then
Nice.
outside of supplements, we're trying to figure it out a lot for live selling. So that's where we're really focused right now. And that can readily scale us to 500,000 a month. But in that process, we also want to have some retail backing. So we're going to start with local endurance shops, gyms, that kind of thing.
Good for you, man. Oh, that's freaking awesome. So
Yeah.
rad. So good. Um, okay, so there's a couple of questions that I have on this whole transition part of this. I do want to talk about that question that I kind of laid out earlier, like the principles of doubting yourself, the principles of, okay, the first 10 seconds, the principles of having fun, direct translation to business, somewhat parallel. Not this one doesn't count when you get over there. How do you view kind of that elite mindset for paintball as you've taken it into the business space? How do those connect?
So I wouldn't say it's the exact same too.
Yeah.
I would say as I got into business and you're cold calling people and essentially knocking on doors, it's terrible. And I just tried to always remind myself, it was just like paintball in the sense where things are hard and this is where everyone else quits. And that's why
Mhm.
I won't. So if I just keep trying, as miserable as it is, it's okay if it's miserable, but if I keep trying, it'll work.
Yeah.
And I'd say that's where it started. I think now, having had all of that experience and rolling it up and saying, okay, I'm not an athlete anymore, I'm a businessman,
Yeah.
there's two skill sets that I'm trying to roll over. One was sheer experience. Like paintball has a short learning curve. You get shot in the head, it hurts. You try not to do that again, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you learn very quickly and you don't repeat the same mistakes because there's a punishment involved. There's
Mm.
not always that in business, or at least not directly. So I'm
Mm.
trying to learn how to roll that over. But I think the most important skill that really made my last years some of the highest performing years I had was I suddenly realized nothing could ruffle my feathers. Like talking trash, bad friends, bad teammates, bad point, stupid mistakes, crowds, nothing bothered me anymore. It was wild. And looking back, that was the superpower of
Yeah.
like, wow, I can just perform under any circumstance because I just don't care about the circumstance. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out how to apply that to business because
How to
it's
apply
hard.
that to business. It is. That's an interesting thing. Oh, I really like that. You said, one of the things you said in there is there was this transition, and you said, I'm not, not an athlete, I'm a businessman. So when you transition out of there, did you feel like there was a part of your identity that you had to let go? Like, was there a part of that you had to let go, or you're just like, yeah, how did you think about that?
It's still hard. I still think about it
Okay.
because and I dabble in the game, so I still coach. I'm doing some announcing. Like I'm still in touch,
Okay.
but trying to accept that I'm not going to go back because I have other goals that I want to pursue is
Yeah.
still very difficult because I still get calls to go play on a salary. And I'm like, nah, I really, PayPal doesn't buy Lamborghinis and I got big goals. So,
Yeah.
but what I always told myself and, my family was when I retire from paintball, I need something to fill that hole.
Mm.
So business is the same type of competition. There's a lot of big fish out there that want to crush you, and I'm up for the challenge
Yeah.
and trying to just say, okay, this is just a new game and I'm starting from scratch makes
Yeah.
me hungry to keep doing it. So
Yeah.
that's where I'm at.
Good for you, man. Yeah, and the whole thing of just outlasting more people, the whole not quitting thing. I mean, that is a giant part of winning in business. I mean, it really
Huge.
is.
And I think the hard transition of that from an athlete to business is as an athlete, it's just sheer work. Like, can I practice this move 100 times more than the next guy? Can I take more hits than the next guy? It's all physical, which I always found easy to overcome. In business, it's more the boring work. It's
Yeah.
like, can I fix this website 100 times today and feel like I did my job?
Mm.
Same mentality, different game. So I'm still accepting that.
And there's not you don't get the little hits of, I know it's exactly what you're saying because they've go out and, it'd be easy to shoot 100 free throws and go out and it was easy to go throw 100 kicks and do and visualize and all, the various sports that I play. Like you can see that and you can see the progress. You could see it right there in that business. Some of that tedious, boring work, like you don't even see the immediate, there's not even a dopamine hit or any gratification. You're like, all that it started out as boring and it just got more boring.
It's
That's
so
it.
true. And then you wait a month for feedback to be like, it worked or
Uh,
it didn't.
that's right. Yeah, that's right. It is such an interesting, um, it's such an interesting comparison between the two. And you start to have to, and we still, we still have these conversations as a team. We had it at our team meeting earlier. We had a team meeting earlier today for a fundraiser that we have coming up, and we still had this conversation about signal versus noise. What is the signal we need to pay attention to? What is the noise that is distracting us and, the busyness and other people's opinions and getting to where you don't care if your feathers get ruffled and, that's like that signal versus noise. How do you keep yourself knowing what is worth your attention as you build versus the things that and I say this as a collective, I say this as just men, young men in general, we do a really good job of convincing ourselves that something is worth our attention when it's freaking absolutely not, pertaining to any of our goals. How do you kind of decipher between those?
That is really hard, really
Yeah.
hard. So, one thing I remind myself again from sport is when I got really good at what I was doing, that's all I did. Like, I
Mm,
didn't have other hobbies. I didn't party. I didn't play pickleball. I didn't do anything. I just did that one thing and it paid dividends. So I always try to remind myself, like, if I just repeat that process, like it's just a pattern. If I can repeat that pattern, it should work. The other thing I do now is in the supplement world, my world now, there's a million things that are hot topics. Like I could make ashwagandha gummies, but I don't believe in them, so I'm not going to make them. But I could probably do $500,000 tomorrow. So I try to remind myself with the numbers of like, okay, creatine's a good product that I already make. Creatine by itself is a $4.2 billion industry. That's a big enough egg that if I just focus on getting 1% of that egg,
yeah.
I'm gonna be okay. So pattern recognition, and then I actually lay out the numbers in front of me and go, I don't need to do anything else. I already know about this thing, and there's a big enough portion for me to get into it.
Yeah, good for you, man. Good for you. I love that. Gentlemen, I got a couple more questions that I want to kind of dive into, but for young men, as you guys start getting some questions in here, start putting hands up so I can bring you guys in so I know, that you guys are on it so I will close my mouth and bring you guys in here too. So, talk about the family side of this as you're building this, you got the ups and downs of all of these things. And it's not just the parents that are impacted anymore or who have, who are stakeholders anymore, right? As you're continuing to grow a family, there's all these ups and downs. There's the internal battle that you've got there. There's the external noise. There's the parents' opinions. At some point, dad's on one side, mom's on another, mom trans. Okay, cool. You got all of this. And then as you're going into business too, in my experience, if you're not coming from necessarily an entrepreneurial family, there's more of that resistance there too, right? Where it's like, this is risky, right? This isn't you got that. Then you start to support a family. Then you've got we're making money. Shoot, we're losing. Talk about that whole journey, man, of from the parents to now leading a family. Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, really hard. So the from the parental side, my entire family is all career based. Dad's a CFO, mom's a teacher, sister's a nurse, sister's a dental hygienist, brother works for Caribbean cruise lines. Like they all
Mhm.
took very straight trajectories in what they were doing. So when I said, "Hey, I'm going to spend all this money to open a gym," everyone definitely threw on the brakes and were like, don't know if that's safe. Like maybe you should call a friend and go work for them." My thought process on that was if I lost it all tomorrow, if everything burned to the ground, I'm so able and willing to work hard to build it again that it won't matter. So there was no plan B. You know, when someone's like, oh, that's not a good idea, there's these other things you could be doing. It's like, yeah, but this looks like more fun to me. And it's something that I want to do. And if I burn it all down, I'm a hard enough worker that I'll be able to go do something else. So whatever. Uh, from the family side, a little more difficult. I'm in a unique situation where my wife, she's a little bit older than me, and a very well established real estate broker. So, I mean, I say she, obviously it's we, but like she owns 8 homes, has rentals, has a property management business, sells a bunch of houses. So when I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go do this thing that has overhead and employees, she's
Yeah.
like, you're dumb. Like, okay. Uh,
Sounds good. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So for that, I had to take a step back and be like, look, you're good at real estate. And yes, I could do real estate, but I know nothing. You know, like I'm going to be starting from scratch. But I'm really good at this other stuff, fitness, nutrition, sports. So why not let me do what I'm good at?
Yeah.
And she basically gave me like a ticking clock of, well, I'm going to let you go try this, but she never said a date, but you could tell she was like, you have so much time to figure this out.
Yeah.
So I did the same thing. I just bet on me. So one of the biggest things that made the difference in growing the gym business to what it was I spent almost $40,000 on a company called Gym Launch, which does like gym turnarounds.
Yeah.
And you guys are familiar with Alex
I'm
Armozy?
going. Well, Alex has come in on this. I'm going to see Alex in a couple weeks.
Oh heck yeah, he's the man.
Yeah, he's awesome. Good dude.
So yeah, I signed up for that program
Nice.
and we took off to the moon. And that was like my hold my beer moment.
Yeah.
You know, I was
Yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah.
so, I did a $30,000 day. And my wife's like, okay, okay. Like she didn't want it to be good, but it was
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, there wasn't support in doing this. I just was willing to do it anyway.
That is there I mean, I guess this is somewhat rhetorical, saying this a little bit and loaded, maybe, I don't know, describe it, but do you find that there is an element of in life in general when you are willing to bet on you and not willing because of an arrogance you grabbed off the shelf, or not willing because you're motivated in the moment, and so betting on you is betting on you for, I'll bet on me today because I'm fired up and I had a lot of caffeine. But like when you're real, like you are legitimately like, I am willing to bet on me, and I'm gonna have a hard day and I'm gonna go to bed, I'm gonna wake up tomorrow morning and I'm willing to bet on me again. Like when you fully own that, you find that other people go, oh, okay, cool, I'll bet on you too. Like it's got to come from you first.
Yeah, I think when you have that feeling, you'll
Yeah.
start to see people at least twitch a little bit when they say, I don't know. But
Yeah.
after you make that first initial action that they find crazy,
Yeah.
that's when they're like, okay, maybe I'll bet on you too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so funny, man. Yeah, it's so it's just it's interesting to watch. It's interesting to watch people who are hell-bent on making the world around them conform to them in some point. And I don't mean that in a bad way, in a manipulative way. Just like a man, I'm gonna make this happen because damned if I won't.
Right. It's literally not logical. And I think I talked about this when we were at the school,
Yeah,
is to me there was no plan B for any of this thing. Like when I
yeah,
chased paintball, there was no if it doesn't work, then I'll X. If the gym failed and I was 40 grand in debt for this company that I had
yeah,
no money for, I wasn't like, okay, this is logical because I'll come up with the money this. No, I was just like, I'm gonna do this thing. And like you said, I'm hell bent on doing it. So this is the only way.
yep. Yeah, I'm gonna go figure it out. I love that, man. So, how do you develop that in a younger person? Because and I this isn't something I'm saying I know the answer to by any stretch, but we talk all the time. We've got young men here, we've got men here, we've got men that are on their first entrepreneurial journey, we got men that have no desire to do that, we've got young men who are building businesses right now, we got young men who that's not what they desire. So I don't mean necessarily from just the entrepreneurial point, but from the standpoint of going to make this life what I want to make this life? And we talk about it in terms of, for a lot of times for men, I'm trying to get them back to the factory settings of when they were younger and they just had awe and wonder and they were excited about the day and they were just like they're looking at the world with just like opportunities, but you're willing to take on these identities and be like, hell yeah, I'm Batman, throw on my cape and I'm going to save the world. And like you just dive in and you don't care anymore, right? And I'm trying to preserve that for the younger guys too. How do you look at passing along that mindset to those that matter most?
Man, these are tough questions, man.
Yeah, this is where my brain goes to myself all day long. So sorry to drag
Yeah.
you into this mind.
No, I love it. I just explaining that's always the hard part. So I think it's probably overlapping enough. Like when I talk, I have a 5-year-old. When I talk to my 5-year-old versus when I talk to myself,
Yeah,
I just try to play out the extreme of each truth. So the truth of the gym, I could spend 40 grand and be broke tomorrow because it might not work.
yeah,
Then what? It's like, okay, well, then I'm going to sell off the equipment, probably get to break even, and I'll be 3 years from now at $0 with a hell of a lot of experience. Like, okay. And worst case scenario, not that I would ever ask for it, but I had my wife there who could probably float me for a day. And if I have to go work 4 a.m. shifts, I will. The alternative to that was if I don't do this, I lose the gym. I never risk it. I wonder what would have happened. And now I go work a desk job, which is what I spent my whole life trying not to do. Like,
mm,
okay, I'm willing to take this risk.
mm,
So I think just playing out the extremes, and I talk to my son the same way, where, oh, I want this game. Okay, let's play it out. If you don't get this game, what are you going to do? If you do get this game, how are you going to earn it? And we play it out, and he can decide if it's worth it to him or not.
yeah,
But I think it's knowing I never know what I want. I don't know what the number is that makes me happy
yeah,
or the end goal of my job, but I just like working. So
yeah.
I go that direction.
Yeah,
You
but
won't.
I think you do know there's just not an end goal. I think that's a different deal because I'm listening to you and I hear a lot of parallels with my own mindset on this where I know what I want. I want to build this. What's the end goal? I don't know. Like that's
Right. Yeah.
like I don't know. I don't have an I'm like you. If for some reason there's somebody who's like $11 billion and you're all done, here you go and walk away from this. I don't even think I'd want to do it for $11 billion. But and just so you guys know, that's not a real number. But like I couldn't walk away for more than a week and have to go do something very similar and build something out and still pour into these guys and right. So I don't have an end goal, an end number in it. That's not. I got none of that. I know what I want though. I want to build this and I want to impact these people and I want to impact these families and I want to spread, this message of sovereignty and freedom. So and it's that mission, it's that purpose. Somebody said to me recently, so most men don't know what they want, so then they resort to just wanting what they know. It's like I'll just go familiar because I just don't have any other purpose on that. Right. And what you're
Yeah.
talking about is a purpose. And then you're passing that to your son too and going, look, part of the way of practicing understanding purpose is thinking through long tail scenarios. Like, okay, cool. If it goes this way, what happens? If it goes this way, what happens? Right. And that's such a big part of being educated.
Yeah. And you take it to the extreme, it's
Yeah.
most people think that if I fail, I die,
Yeah.
but you don't. There's so many other scenarios where,
Yeah.
you lose your business and you don't die. It's okay. And no one's going to care about your successes, which means no one's going to care about your failures because people don't care about you. It's just the fact of the matter.
Yeah.
Like when was the last time you thought about Princess Di? One of the
Yeah.
wealthiest, most famous people in the world, and you forgot about her, right? So do what you want because no one's going to care.
And so it's so true. So one of my buddies today sent something in a group text and he said something about Pete Rose. I'm like, man, I forgot that dude even existed. Right. Like I
Exactly.
forgot he's like, and that was another guy just from a national standpoint. It was like people loved him or people hated him. And and so it maybe just for a split second, because then I had work to do, but I started thinking down that rabbit hole of like, how did he think about that? How did he think about part of the world loves him and goes, man, you're one of the greatest to ever play this game and you should be a Hall of Famer. And then part of him, part of the world was just like, well, you suck, you bet on this. That was illegal. You weren't supposed to do that. And like, I wonder how he thought about that. But I wonder if he realized most people aren't, yeah, sure, his name in headlines is going to be paired with one of those, but most people weren't thinking about that and didn't really care.
Yeah.
Like I wonder if that affected him. I hope it didn't. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's so
Can
interesting.
only hope. Yeah, I agree.
So fascinating. All right, let's get some of these guys in here. Mr. Miraz. I hope that black guy is still there. Let's see. I gotta get you. Oh, I didn't spotlight you
You,
fast.
you still see it?
Yes. God, it looks
Yeah,
good.
it's still there. It's still there. Still going strong.
Keep it.
Little jujitsu elbow. So,
Keep it.
Nice.
Greg, thanks for coming on with us. You said something there of you don't die when you fail. I didn't really figure that out until I failed at my first business and basically lost all my money. Was there anything that really sparked that in you, or did you just keep that? Because once you lose it all and then you go, oh, wait, I can build it back, it becomes way more real. So, was there anything like that happened to you?
No, unfortunately, I've heard it now, but I think the only way you really learn that is you do it for yourself. Like there are some things your mom can tell you not to do, but you still stick the fork in the outlet, right? Uh, Failing is one of those things. No one can teach you that. So the fact that you failed and are willing to do it again, you now have a stack of undeniable proof that you are willing and able to do that thing, which means you could do it 10 more times. But you're going to fail differently each time. So it'll just get better.
Was there any failures that come to your mind that where you really learned that lesson, or were you just lucky?
No, I would not say lucky. I would say more character failures that I've had. So I say that in the sense that one of the reasons that I went through some bad teams in paintball is because I was a college kid and I was drinking too much. I always showed up to practice, but maybe I wasn't at my best and that cost me. And looking back, I always felt like that was a character flaw. Like I should have been more willing to create that line for myself. Um, So that was a hard failure to deal with, but I would think that was way more telling for me mentally than any of my like business failures.
That's good.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
That's a good question, Miraz. Sexy Rexy out
Hey.
there working. Yeah. Oh, I should have worn my shirt, man. I was wearing that shirt earlier.
Oh yeah.
I was wearing it and I was like, I'm gonna just look like a grown up, and I put on the collared thing, whatever. But that's what I was wearing that earlier for a workout, man.
Nice.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So my question is, so I've had some success in business. Currently where I'm at, I feel like I'm hitting some of the top end of my capabilities, right? So looking to level up. So when you were moving into business from the athletic side, um, what did you do to level up those skills when you hit a skill you didn't have yet?
Yeah, so a couple ways I could approach this. I think first is there's so much information out there, so much that your ability to pump out an MVP, like a minimum viable product or service, is immaculate. So just in the development of, I don't have a labeled product here, in the development of us labeling products, I didn't know how to use Photoshop, any of the AI platforms, but I just YouTubed it and learned, and I got something kind of ghetto that looked somewhat like what I wanted. And we saved 50 grand in design work because I was able to present something and say, this is close.
Right.
So depending on the skill set, I think just sheer volume of research can break that for you. The second part to that would be you'd be amazed who's in your network that already knows that skill. So
Yeah.
that's one thing I've been leaning into really hard now is friends I made in paintball where I'm like, didn't that guy have a podcast business? So I call him up and he's like, oh yeah, you want this mic and you want this machine? Yeah, yeah, no problem. And saved me a day's worth of research.
Mhm.
Nice.
I would dig hard into your network and then I would get savage at ChatGPT.
Me and ChatGPT are super tight.
Yeah, for sure. Like, do you train the bot for whatever the thing is you're trying to do?
Yeah, I've been working on that. I've been working really hard on really learning the ins and outs of how to prompt. Obviously I started out like everybody else, super lazy. Just how do you do this? Like
Yeah.
now it's pretend you're this, and these are the guardrails, and blah blah blah. Right. So
Yeah.
and that's getting better, but that's a skill I'm learning. So
Okay. Well, what's the skill that's holding your business back right now?
I don't know that there's any specific skill that's holding it back per se. I feel like we're just at the size. We're doing about, I don't know, 1.2 a year, right?
Mhm.
Um, and I'm running operations for the company. And so, in my prior businesses, I was nowhere near that level, right? So I'm just running into just unknowns, right? Like,
Okay.
how do you motivate a team? How do you like take the next level in the marketing, right? Like,
Yeah.
we're
So
just like I'm just reaching a kind of a point that I've never been. So I don't know what I don't know.
yeah, 100%. The way it was described to me when I went to Alex Hormozzi's like boot camp stuff, because we did the acquisition.com stuff, was there's always one constraint. And the one that it sounds like you're hitting is like what got you to level one doesn't necessarily get you to level two. So it's a new skill set. Are
Right.
any of your employees that work closest with you smarter than you?
Nope.
That's the problem.
There's an
You
issue.
need to, yeah. And I say you need to. From my perspective, what I would
Yeah.
think is you need to buy an A class player because it's going to cost you a lot in salary, but it's going to get you to level two, which is going to make you 3 times the revenue.
Mm. Mm.
You can only pour into so many employees, man. If they're all
Yeah.
under you, they're all absorbing from you, which means they're not going to present you with anything new. You need someone smarter than you.
That's it.
Okay.
Is otherwise it's on you to right. There's skills that you think
Yeah.
you need and maybe want personally, and that's great. Sometimes there's skills that you need and you don't necessarily want to personally have, and you can hire for. Sometimes there's skills you want and you don't actually need, right? And
That's fair.
there's sometimes
Lots of
sometimes
those.
there's that, yeah. Sometimes there's that too. But I think he's right. Well, I think the way Alex frames is like a well, I wouldn't. I mean, yeah, I guess it kind of would be like a key man risk,
Oh
right?
yeah.
A little bit like if
Yeah.
Sexy Rexy goes down, does the company go down? If the answer is yes, that's a problem, right? And so
Right.
how do we get these smarter people in there to take on a big part so that you can also see a little more clearly what the strategy needs to be too.
Right.
And they'll have a good perspective on some things that'll help because they'll have a different skill set.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's
Of
really
course. I know that's not the answer you want to hear, but I see the wheels turning.
No, it's the answer that I've been mulling around in my own head. So it's
Yep.
just like
here's if it's the answer you want to hear. If that's the
it's almost like pointing out the obvious, and it's like,
if the answer you need to
Yeah.
hear, it's the answer you
right.
need to hear. You know, like it's that.
So
Yeah. So step two to that is figuring out what the actual constraint is and getting the master of that. Like if you just need more sales, go get the best sales guy you can possibly not afford. Or if you
right,
need to increase manufacturing, like go find someone that does that. And then you can take over the rest and learn as you go, but find the constraint and then hire big.
yeah, okay. Yeah, that's what we've been talking about, and we have been hemming and hawing over that over budget. And
Hmm.
I think that's where we just need to bite the bullet.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, and if it bites you, you can always turn back. Like you're not going to die if you hire the wrong person.
Right. Yeah. So okay.
Yeah, it's good,
I
man.
appreciate that.
Good
Of
question,
course.
Rex. Good question, Rexy. Yeah, sometimes it is the thing that we want to or it's not the thing we want to hear, but it's the thing we need to hear. And that's a huge benefit of this. Who are the people you like to listen to? Obviously, you're talking about Alex. You gone out there to like a VAM day or something like
Yep.
that. Okay, cool. And just again, great freaking dude. Him, Layla, solid. That whole team, such solid folks. Obviously, they did quite okay with that whole book launch. Uh,
Yeah.
this past weekend, he shot me a text and he's like, "Hey man, give a question so if I can answer it in the launch." He's like, "I'll answer it live." I was like, "All right, sweet man." So I sent him this question and I was working while on the book launch thing. So I was in the background of the whole thing, like up on the screen, and it was going and going. And like I'm working, I'm listening, but I'm working. And it was like 3 hours into it. I'm like, God bless him. Like, go get it, man.
I know.
So I jumped off. And then somebody took a screenshot later that he took the question and did the whole question live and stuff too. But I mean, super solid. Their whole team is super solid. Who are some of the other guys? Oh, Ellis, I see your hand. Ellis, I'll bring you in just a second. All right, and I'll show you how to do that. But who are you? So like Alex and Layla, who else do you kind of pay attention to, listen to, kind of get tips and tricks from? Obviously with gym launch, I mean, they obviously
Yeah.
a ton, but who else are you kind of on your radar?
I categorize my listening. So like Alex and Layla are my go-to for business of
Yeah.
all kinds, like
Yep.
sales, hiring, all that stuff.
Yep.
Um, for what's fresh and like basic motivation, Gary Vanderchuck.
Yeah, man. Gary's great. Gary's come on here too. Yeah, he's a
Damn,
great.
dude, you got a lineup. Thanks for
So
the invite. Holy moly.
yeah.
Yeah,
Hey, best of the best, sir.
let's go. Gary Vee is really good for that stuff. For the transition from athlete to businessman,
Yeah.
Ed Milet has a
Yeah.
couple of good individual podcasts on that stuff. And then probably my favorite podcast right now is Modern Wisdom with Chris Williamson.
Williamson. Yeah. Super good, man. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
that one's good for mentality.
Yeah, super good. He's solid. So we're working on a date with him. But
Nice.
for also that fundraiser, it's going to be out in Austin. So if he can be there, he's going to be there for that too. So we're trying to work out a schedule. Solid. Seems like a solid dude. I don't know him. I don't know him well at all, but seems like a solid guy. Really freaking smart. Annoyingly smart.
Really. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. So basically, I hate him. I'm not going to invite him anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
We got to hire him.
Yeah, we're gonna hire. Yeah, right. Exactly. Because gosh, at least if he's annoyingly smart, at least it sucks that he's also better looking than me. Okay, so I
Yeah.
actually double hate the man. So we're good. Let's see. Let's get you in here, Alice.
All right. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Siewers, for coming on and taking some time out of your day to kind of pour into us and tell us your story. Really appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
So question for you. You said you got a full ride scholarship to college, was it?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
For state schools in Massachusetts.
Okay, gotcha. So as far as college goes, do you feel like college was at all valuable to you when it comes to your entrepreneurship route? Not necessarily paintball, but the gym that you ended up running and kind of taking that route?
Good
I
question.
I do. Yeah, that's a great question because I know there's a lot of controversy on college.
Yeah.
So the rundown of that is when I got into college for 2 years, I did business as a major because I kind of had the mentality I wanted to do something, but
Yep.
I was literally falling asleep, like economics into hot coffee. Uh, but 2 years in, someone had mentioned that nutrition was a potential major. And I was already into fitness and nutrition. I was like, well, that's cool. So I actually found a passion for nutrition and was able to come out of college at the highest pay rate for a personal trainer, which allowed me to start stacking cash to do some of these other things. Because there's levels, like you need certifications and whatever else. And my edge with learning so much about nutrition early has really carried me through every part of my business. It helped make my gym successful. It's helped put my supplement line together. So I'm really thankful that I found it. And I don't know that I would have without college.
Okay, cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good question, Alice.
Right
Yeah,
one.
it is an interesting thing, man, and it doesn't. I think like everything else, it has become a topic where it's a I always use this example as like Bloods versus Crips, right? It's either like, yes, everybody needs to go to college still, or like college is for losers, right? And it's neither of those things are true. Like neither of those things are true. It is the intentionality of the individual. It is the scenario. It is what do they want to do with it? Can they be intentional going in? Are you able to play the game that where it doesn't saddle you with a bunch of debt? So you're coming out of it. Are you going there just because it is a 4 year vacation and you're going there just to party? Right, and you're going to come out of there with all that debt, have to move back in with the parents, go work as a barista, and you're straddled with debt. Like we've got kids on our some of our campuses that are getting their college degree while they're in high school. We've got some that are going to like, great, go for it, just be intentional and don't put yourself in a hole to do it just because everybody else is doing it. And pay attention to other opportunities that could be there too. If you're interested in trades, that's a fantastic opportunity. We're not saying everybody should do it, but if you're interested, there's opportunity there. And I would argue there's might be more opportunity than just a blanket degree that everybody has too. So just think through all those things and make a choice. And then you can change your mind later. Like people, it's that.
Agreed. And I also think from a lifestyle perspective, people who are a little wayward tend up to go to the military, right? That's like the telltale story. But
Mhm.
I would argue it's pretty difficult to go to college and manage yourself. Like
Sure.
you have to make your choices of, am I going to go to class? Am I going to be on time? Am I going to work at the same time? Am I going to get this homework done? Like all of those things really stack up. Like you become an adult very quickly if you do college right.
Mhm. Yeah, take on that responsibility. So, it's definitely people hear what they want to hear. I don't think it's an either or. I think it is a just make a choice, and that's again, I think that is just that's status quo across all industry. Um, I know we're coming up towards the end of the hour. What's next for Greg, for Maptrition? What are you excited to build out right now? Like what's on the agenda? What's on the 3 years? I don't know how far out you look at. I don't look much more than 2, 3 years out personally because the
Same.
world changes so dang much, right? But it's just like, okay, cool. This is what I'm excited about right now, and we're gonna work on. What are you thinking on that?
Yeah, I'm excited to like immediate goals, see my product in a store. Like I want to walk in and be like, that's mine right there. That's cool.
Yeah.
So that's my immediate goal. Something that I'm really excited to be working on is entering the endurance supplement space. So we already
Mm.
make endurance supplements, but if you look at everyone's familiar with Goo, Cliff Blocks,
Sure.
like the runners,
Yep.
instant purchase stuff.
Yeah.
All of them are exactly the same.
Yeah.
All of them. They're the same ingredients. It's kind of half-assed because it's cheap to make. And I found a product that I can turn into a gummy. It's really difficult to do, but if I can figure it out, we can get a utility patent on it.
Mm.
And one, it'll be the best product on the market in that realm, hands down. Two, it would make me very, very buyable, which would
Mm.
be very cool to scale quickly and do something even bigger than what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
So
Good
that's what
for
I'm
you.
excited about.
That's awesome, man. So good. Oh, so good. Okay, so we got to do the honors of. Well, there's two things. So one, it's the honors of course, where does everybody go to find you? Because we'll get this out as a podcast, and we want people to be able to find you, find Maptrition, find all of that stuff. But then the more important question to us is when somebody comes in and they are what we consider part of this network too is like, man, what can we do to support Greg and his family, Greg and his son? Like, how does that help? And I got to be honest, I haven't been. We left. My mom sold her house in Roseville and came out here not too long, like a few months after, 6 months after us. So I flew since moving. I flew back one time. I flew in, did Mark Bell's show, and went and had a workout with him. Grabbed my mom's car and drove back, and I have not been back to California since. My brother and sister still live like right down the road from you. But I have not been back yet. I want to get out there and just be able to see some folks and give you a hug in person. But until that can happen, how do we best support you and the fam? So those are the last. Where do we find you? How do we best support you and the family, man?
Yeah. So to find me, it's the same on every platform. It's at Maptrition or at Greg Siewers 14. I still hold on to that paintball number.
Got the
Staying
number.
strong.
Yeah,
Uh,
man.
Outside of that, honestly, the best way I could get support is just by following the accounts. And really, when I feel most successful is when people reach out with questions that I
Yeah,
can actually make a difference with. So if you have fitness questions, nutrition questions, um, that's really my realm. And I love being able to give my 2 cents as someone who practiced it and now teaches it. So if I can, by all means, please reach out.
friggin' awesome. Ah, it's awesome, man. So good, brother. I'm glad we got to do this, man.
Me too. I really appreciate the invite, especially here in your lineups. I am honored, more so
Oh,
than I knew.
honors absolutely on this side. I am gonna take what I'll do now is I'll take these guys through a debrief for an hour, and then I go right into some office hours for our campus affiliates, and I'll be on that for another couple hours probably. So in a little bit, man, I'm gonna shoot you a text too and follow up so we can just keep this conversation rolling. But just want to give you
Perfect.
that. So,
Yeah.
man,
Thank you so much, Matt.
oh man, congratulations on everything. I love it. I freaking love every single bit of it. I'm looking forward to continuing the conversation on our side, brother. I wish you nothing but the best. You're the man.
Yeah, you too. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it.
Gentlemen, give a big thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
I appreciate you.
Thanks, guys.
Talk soon, brother.
Thank you.
See you guys.